What's up, everybody? This is the Jedi. I want to talk about this latest development with Jussie Smollett, but I want to put it in a full world context. As I always say to you, it's important that you are always looking at the big picture, everybody. Shout out to all of you guys that have been with me since 2014, through shutdown channels and when we were at our zenith. We had nearly, I think we might have had over 2,000 videos. We had over 2,000 videos, 4.5 million viewers, 23,000 subscribers. You guys that have been down with me, y'all know, and y'all know, and so a special and very deep, heartfelt shout out to all of you. But so I always say you have to look at the big picture. So much of what is geared to the public in this society its capital, hear this, its capital is your forgetting and or living moment to moment. So they put this picture in front of you, and then click, and it's to the next picture, and click into the next picture, and click into the next picture. And they only want you to focus on each picture that's in front of you. You never realize they're all pictures of the same dog in different settings. You don't realize it. You don't realize it. So one of the things that I have stressed and will continue to stress as a key component of the liberation of the character and the consciousness of my people is I must train you to train yourself to live in that space of the big picture and always knowing what is in front of you. You understand? You must see with your third eye, everybody. You must see with your third eye. You must. Now, before I talk about Jussie, I want to talk about this. Now, this is Waka Flaka flame. Just let that sit in for a minute. There's so many things wrong with that. Waka Flaka flame. Think about that. And while I'm on the subject of it, I cannot be remiss in expressing my disgust for any and all stage names for people who are not famous and people who are famous, but particularly speaking to people that are not famous. I hate when I meet brothers and you introduce yourself and then they give you some stage name. And I always have to say, what'd your mama name you? You see, what did your mama name you? And then after they tell me, I tell them, I'm happy to call you whatever this stage name is that you want to be known as, if that's what you want. But I would like, if you don't mind, to be able to call you by the names your mama gave you. Now, if they're not cool with that, then I call them whatever they want to be called. It just as a matter of just respect. But I also don't continue without telling them that it's important that you, if you're going to go by that stage name, tell people first, my mother named me X, Y, and Z, but you can call me this stage name. Why is that important, Jedi? Why are you saying this thing to us? Because when you say the name that your mother gave you, you honor your mother. Whether she's alive or dead, you honor your mother. Because you're not just some anointed being that came out of a puff of smoke. There is a woman who went through participating in the miracle of life with the divine to bring you forth. That's a very sacred relationship, like none other on the earth. This woman gestated you for 9 months. She went through the physical, biological, and mental jihad. Feet swelling, morning sickness, appetite changes, weight gain, mood swings, trips to the doctor. All of it to bring you forth. She must be honored. Damn it. She must be. She must be. And just a little more to that, I want to share something else with you. As you all know, I've shared with you many times, and I'm sure I will continue to mention it for as long as I live. I did not know my mother. My mother was in the hospital ill and near death when she gave birth to me. 6 months into my life, she left the earth. And I spent the next 6 months in the hospital. I didn't come home until I was 1 year old. I was watching an episode of Deal or No Deal the other night, and I began to cry. The contestant, the lady that was up there, her husband was there and her friend and somebody else. But then they surprised her because she had a son who's in the Marines and he was away. And she had mentioned it. And y'all know Deal or No Deal, one of the things that makes that the best game show ever conceived, because they do everything. They do everything on that show. And sure enough, they surprised her by her son happened. They had brought her son there, unbeknownst. They had this big screen that went up, and there was the smoke and the lights, and there he was, and it was very dramatic. But what brought me to tears was when they came together and hugged. It was that moment that I instantly was brought to tears. Instantly. Because of all the feelings and thoughts and dreams that I've had, and the understanding of the context of my life, with my mother being gone, in that moment it was yet another thing I had not really contemplated, that had not come upon me as an inspiration or a feeling or a thought. I see people hug their mom all the time, but this moment, Allah gave this to me. Boom. Wow. There's no other hug like that on the earth. There can't be, for her or for him. A mother embracing the child that she gave birth to. And a son, or any child really, embracing the vessel from which they came. Wow. I could cry at that now again. I won't, but I could. I could cry at that. That I could cry at. That I could cry at. And lastly, I promise lastly, I will say to all of you, if your mama is still on earth, go and hold her. Go and hold her. Just say, Mama, I just want to hold you. I just want to hold you. I just want to hold you. I digress. So this Waka Flaka thing, all right, was on Wendy. And I could not negate another opportunity to show you the example of these feminine rappers, these feminine entertainers who are being put before black humanity as the new expression of masculinity. We cannot allow this. We cannot allow this. Because you see, it's very dangerous, especially when we're talking about in an era where homosexuality is being promoted. I am not arrogant enough to judge or to condemn someone's sexuality. I think that is just as personal to a human being as your heartbeat. As someone who has gay people in my family, I'm absolutely clear that that's how they come to earth. I don't have any issue with that. That's between them and their Lord. It only becomes a thorn in the eye of the Jedi when it is then promoted upon humanity, and particularly dangerous to Africans. Hear this, because this promotion seeks to wipe out our identity, but most importantly, our struggle that is ongoing. To add this sexuality of a nondescript group that can be anybody, old, young, white, black, Asian, foreign, English, no English, doesn't matter. It's trying to add that as a whole group of people to African people and equate any complaint that they would have on the earth to the suffrage of African people, and we should all be insulted by that whether we're Africans or not. Period. There is no equation to African struggle. Don't give me gay slur. You're going to have to do better than that. So he is another continuum in this. Now, I'm going to roll these pictures, and probably Jussie's going to come up just because the way that I had the file set up. So even if Jussie comes up, ignore him. Just act like you don't see him. Don't look at that. All right. We're not talking about that yet. All right. So you will pretend as if you don't see it. All right. All right. Now, so we're going to go through this, and so that I can take the cataract off of your third eye. All right. So there she comes. All right, and this looks like a lesbian couple. So this would be the butch woman and then her feminine girlfriend. You see? All right, that's Lakeisha and Lawanda. That's who they are. All right, you don't know their names. I've met them. I know their names. You don't know them. All right, that is Lakeisha and Lawanda. Write it down. Don't get me worked up. All right, okay, take your seat. All right. Yeah, that's Lakeisha and Lawanda. There they are. They're the girls. There's the girls. All right, Lakeisha and Lawanda. And you'll see that Lakeisha's waving. She's waving. You see? Let's go back to that one because that one's especially girly. Especially. All right. Now, pretend this is not Wendy. Pretend you don't know anything. That this is Lakeisha and Lawanda. You've never seen these people on the earth. And I go, I'm going to present you with a photograph. You're going to look at it for 3 seconds and then I'm going to put it away. And you tell me what you saw in the photograph. And then I take it away and I say, what'd you see? Did you see 2 women? And you go, yeah, I saw 2 women. All right. But I need to do duality here because as I am talking about Lakeisha, I also need to talk about Lawanda because I want to deal with this issue of why is all of this out? You understand? You don't get to put slop into the pig pen and then bitch when the pigs all come and they're eating the slop. You put it in there for them to eat. And in this era of all this hashtag Me Too and the victims and what was it, Me Too and Time's Up and Stop It and I Can't, whatever it is. There's no reason on the earth for any female human being to present themselves in this slutty way. And it's even more egregious if you want to tell me this is a male that she's with, testifying to these being boys and not men. There's no man, forget allowing her, no man is going to be with a female that would express herself in this way. Men don't do that. And as a man and a king, this would never be someone who would be allowed the privilege to be on my arm. Let us go on, though. So there's Lakeisha and Lawanda. There they are. Look at this. Look at this. You want to be respected? What is the need for this? I mean, it's I don't know if I've ever even seen something like this. Because it's one thing, it's bad enough and heretic enough for a woman to even show her chest. But all of this, I mean, just like, why are you wearing anything? Why do you have anything on? Why didn't you just come out there butterball ass? This is disgusting to me, everybody. And by the way, look, there they are. Look at this. She's on international television, grinning. Are you understanding what I'm telling you? Oh my God, I cannot. Wow. Look at this. Now, you know that Wendy does shoe cam. No man is wearing bedazzled toes. Do you understand me? That looks like a woman's shoe because it is. And if you look at the profile of it, the black part, it has the contour of a woman's shoe. It looks like a woman's heel. That looks like a woman's heel. Say I'm lying. Huh? But this is what is being presented. Look. Look. You see? We should be outraged by this. And like I say, this is the biggest crime against all humanity, is all of this chest just out. What is the value of that? You see, it's like the Creator has said to mankind in the Quran, that which is wicked will seem normal to them. That which is wicked will seem normal to them. And indeed, this prophecy is fulfilled, because she's allowed to sit on national television like this and she wasn't arrested. Nobody threw a sheet at her, because it's normal now. You understand? And by the way, if I see one more center part on another female, I will have to throw myself from the tallest building that I can find. I'll have to. I'll have to. I will have to. You understand? One more center part, and that's it for me. Hashtag time's up for the Jedi. He can't. He can't. One more center part, and I trigger. You know, it's kind of like Gabrielle Union. What was that movie? I don't know the movie. It might have been Daddy's Little Girls. And she was like, she was on the phone. She was in the back of the car. She was on the phone. She was like, and she was talking to, I forget who her friend was. She was like, and girl, if I see one more man over 30, one more man over 30 or 35, whatever it was, with a throwback, with a damn sports throwback on, I'm gonna scream. And then all of a sudden the camera turns, there's a brother standing on the corner. And you just hear her scream, ah, into the phone of the person that's on the other. That's how I feel about this. You understand me? What? One more center part. You know what I'm saying? Where are the days? Where did it go, everybody? What happened, sisters? You know what I'm saying? Where you don't know what the sister hair gonna look like. You know, especially if it's your woman. You know what I'm saying? You don't know. Ooh, you know, like one of my ex-girlfriends, she was one of these people that changed her whole look at least 3 times a day. Most times it was more, but at least 3 times a day she had on a different outfit and a different hairstyle. I promise you, that's the truth. Like, she did that. You feel me? But I'm saying, like, what happened to the days of, ooh, you don't know what her hair gonna look like? You know, everything is a damn center part now. I'm sick of it, and I think I speak for a lot of brothers. Hashtag burn the center part or something. We need a hashtag for this. We need a hashtag and probably a documentary. I'm being just off camera. My people are I'm seeing signs. They're saying a documentary, and the lawyers are also nodding. So I think there's probably going to be a documentary. Yeah, I think there's going to be a documentary. Yeah, 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 yeah. And no documentary is complete without a British accent, so you have to have a British director, so it'll be a documentary. You see, a documentary. So you can't just do a documentary. So it has to be a documentary. You see what I'm saying? Otherwise, you can't. You can't. So ain't nobody will watch no documentary. But they will watch a documentary. You see what I'm saying? Now, no more center parts. I'm disgusted by this. And I've said to you, when I'm in public or anywhere, when I am around women who are trying to seek my attention with some shit like this, I go out of my way to let them know I'm ignoring them. Do you understand? I go out of my way. And when they dressed in any type of way that they're trying to be provocative, and if they trying to be cute, like if they've overdone the hair and the lashes and the ha ha ha, I purposely ignore you. I ignore you. Because if women want to be seen for who they are and not what they present, then stop presenting. You understand? Stop presenting, because just the fact that you're a feminine creature is all the attention you're ever going to need, ladies. That's all you're going to need. That's all we need. That's it. We don't need the special effects. I don't care how high your heel is going to get. You see, or how you done your toes, and now the toes ain't gonna matter till we, you know what I'm saying, until we in a vertical position. You know what I'm saying, and I'm looking at the toes, and you know, to see, there's a time when those things become like, now let me see. You see, I don't need you displaying that in public. And then on a personal note, it's still relevant, but just on a personal note, I'm the type of person, I like a little bit of mystery, a whole lot of mystery, quite frankly. Like, the mystery of it is what makes it even more attractive and indeed arousing for me. You know, that's, I mean, think about when somebody gives you a gift. 90% of the experience of getting a gift is you don't know what it is. Here, I got you something. They hand you like a box and it's wrapped. Oh, doesn't matter what the gift is going to be. You've already had 90% of the experience just because of the mystery. You know it's going to be something good because they got you a gift. You just don't know what it is yet. You feel me? So it's that, for me, it's that same thing. It's that same with women. She a woman. It's going to be good. That's good. The mystery. You see? Now I get to see her toes. Now I get to see her cleavage and her breastises. You feel me? And I get to see her full physical expression now. Now I'm turned on. I'm not turned on by you're the 1000th bitch that's walked past me today in some tight ass fucking shit. I'm not. I'm over it, actually. You understand? That's what has happened. Somebody puts a cheeseburger in front of you every single day. Boom, another cheeseburger. Same time every day. Boom, you don't get nothing else. No water, no punch. You don't get nothing. So just cheeseburger. Next day, cheeseburger. Next cheeseburger. For the rest of you, you're like, damn, can I just, I'm cool with a cheeseburger, but can I just get something else? Y'all don't got no pasta back there someplace? I mean, so this is how, for me as a man, how I experience the society. I'm over it. Like, every heifer that walked past me is a cheeseburger now. I'm done. I'm done. I'm done. I've said this to you before. There's nothing more beautiful to me than a Muslim woman who is dressed as a Muslim woman would dress. Because I'm only forced to see and receive her as a human being. That's it. And then I get into that. She is respected because she has set the tone of respect right from the first look. Boom. You won't be seeing anything, so look right here. See my mind, see my character, see my intellect, see my education, see my accomplishment. See me, I am a woman. But all these special effects heifers out there with all this going on, you just like the 15,000th center part I've seen for the day. I'm done with you. I'm done. I'm done. And then for your side of it, it makes it hard for you to stand out because what's special about you? Nothing. Nothing. You and 80 of your girlfriends all walk out of the Rite Aid. Everybody got a center part and everybody's got on something tight. There's nobody stands out to me. Nobody. Nothing. Nothing. I walk past you, I'm definitely gonna say, "What's up, my sisters?" Cause you my sisters. That's it. Done. But I'm not impressed. I'm not impressed. I've seen the show already. I seen it. I seen it. I've seen the movie. One more center part, everybody. So I'm saying, I don't care how many colors you're gonna have in the little fake, like trying to fake me out like you got roots that like yo, I can't, dude. One more center part. Oh my god, I can't. In fact, I'm gonna allow anybody who wants to license this, they can have it. But I want to get a T-shirt that has a picture of a sister's head with these helmets on with the center part with a circle and a slash through it that just says center part. I'm over it. I can't. I can't. I can't. I can't. This is not how women express themselves, ladies. This is how desperate sluts express themselves. You understand? And speaking as a man and a king, you will not ever receive the respect that you are entitled to. Hear this word. You will never receive the respect that you're entitled to if you don't claim it for yourself. And it begins with how you present yourself to the public world. Period. The damn end. Now I want to deal with Jussie. We all had very strong feelings, pro and con, when this whole thing started. We went from, oh my God, to we believed it, to we don't know, to videos coming out, then the Nigerians come out, and it was, oh my, and I can't. All right. Well, I'm here to say, throw that all out. Throw that all out, everybody. Throw it out. Because what you're really dealing with here in this case is this: not guilty on all counts. That was the headline after Michael Joseph Jackson was acquitted of 10 felony charges, and there was 4 other misdemeanors or something else for a total of 14. But the headline is acquitted on 10 felony counts. You'll recall that there was, I don't remember the number for Jussie. We're going to read and we're going to find out. But what we're dealing with here is 2 to 4 different dynamics, depending on how we discuss it. It's 2 dynamics of guilt or innocence, and it's 2 dynamics of black and white. I should even have a third one up there. I should have had OJ up there too. Should have had him up there. Maybe we could get OJ in here too. That's what I'm saying. Because it would be relevant. Because in the case of Michael Joseph Jackson, the most famous human being that's ever been recorded in human history, and the greatest entertainer the world has ever known. In the case of Michael, it wasn't really about whether or not he was guilty of child molestation or not. He wasn't, let us be sure. But it wasn't about that. It can be about that in a society not filled with white people, with their savage history. in their society, the very pit of evil, and all things against God. It can be about molestation, and that's it, and right and wrong. You understand? But you have to look at all of this through the lens of being leftover cargo, leftover unwanted cargo, in a land that is not yours, that you do not run and you do not own. The entire expression of humanity, if we're going to call it humanity, and I use that word very carefully, simply because I don't have another one right now. The expression, we'll use existence. The expression of existence in this nation is unlike anything else on the earth. Wherever they are the majority and they dominate, this is what you get. This is not a society built on righteousness or truth, but more importantly, that's not even the intention of those who are at its helm. You need to hear me on this. You need to hear me on this, because again, it's about the big picture, everybody. It's about the big picture. The big picture. The big picture, not just what's in front of you at any given second. It's about how does this relate to the rest of the puzzle I'm putting together. When you put together a jigsaw puzzle, you never look at a piece and go, that's the end of it. Well, that's just that piece. No. Everybody who's ever put together a jigsaw puzzle, every piece you pick up, you're looking at, where does this fit? And you start holding it against the rest of it that you've gotten put together. Well, dude, go here, and you see? Because you've accepted and you understand this is a one piece of this other 3,000 pieces. That's where I'm trying to put you at in your everyday thinking and how you deal with this society that is not yours. It's not yours. It's not yours. So it wasn't about Michael Jackson. For us, it was. We said Michael didn't do this because we're not specious and just out for blood. We're willing to look at any situation and say, is there guilt or innocence there? We use our God-given common sense and go, nothing to see there. Just like with OJ. We didn't say OJ didn't do it. I don't know no black folks say OJ did not do it without adding at least that's not what they showed us. They didn't prove murder in that courtroom. Whether OJ did it is another adjudicated issue to be done in a different damn time. But what they brought and presented before the world in that televised trial of the century, because anytime we go on trial, it's the trial of the century. Remember, it was the same thing with Michael. It's the trial of the century. Well, which century? You see? But what they presented in their trial of the century was not murder. And it exposed what we already knew. And what is at play here, even in Jussie? The insinuation of a crime by a black man upon white ears translates to guilt. Period. And it's so ironic, really, and a gift from the universe, and why I have these two together, because of what they mean individually and together. Both are the victim of, if we say you're guilty, then you are. So in Michael's case, we say you're guilty and so you are. No evidence. None at all. None at all. Throw out, in the minds of white people, throw out that 10-year investigation by the FBI, which is not run by us, where they found absolutely nothing. 10 years. Throw that out. Because once they say you're guilty, you're guilty. Here's another brother's picture. Our young, beloved, handsome prince, Emmett Lewis Till. May his soul be rested, and may Allah favor him on the great day of judgment. Amen. We say he's guilty, therefore he is. And you're dealing in a society of people, not us, them. You're dealing in a society of people who in their society are always out for blood. They circle their wagons in a heartbeat. Unless it's them. But an insinuation of guilt upon a black body equals guilt. They don't even hear insinuation. They don't hear alleged. They don't hear charged. They don't hear anything but guilt. That's all they hear. Like literally, that's all they hear. Literally. I need you to understand this because I preach so much about us being different. Don't ever buy into this thing we're all the same. Well, we bleed the same. Well, cut a lion open, heifer. That bleeds too. Am I the same as a lion? I think not. It's why I've said they should never be able to sit in judgment of another human being on earth that's not one of their own. We don't know what they see out of those eyes because there ain't no melanin in them. We don't know how they even visually see stuff. We don't. And we don't know how they, but we know how they hear stuff. You understand? Impartiality is not within their capability. Arrogance is abundance. And the obsessant need to be right at all cost. At all cost. And that's why this brother is in his grave. So by the time you get to Michael and Jussie, the pattern has already been established. So in the case of Michael, not guilty at all, period, the end. Not even a question to be had. But what we see in the after effects and why he's being pulled out of the grave is their obsessant need to be right. And parallel to that, once they insinuate guilt, therefore it is. Courts and rules and laws, investigations and raids mean nothing to these people. So here comes Jussie. Now, I don't know if Jussie lied or not. I don't know. I don't know him. Sadly, he doesn't owe me money. And so what? All right, I'm being told by one of my my assistants he does owe me $10. I'm being told just at this moment. This is coming in because I'm always in real time when I am in my videos. You guys know this. I'm being told in real time right now by one of my trusted assistants that in fact Jussie does owe me $10. I'm being told this. So that should be in collections, but that's not what's on the table for them. They're still back at he dared to say one of them did something bad. Didn't have to be to him. Didn't have to be MAGA hats. You see? Because I don't make no distinction between the white person that wears the MAGA hat and the one that don't. There's no difference. It was how dare you insinuate. And that's what's been at their root ever since. Hear this now. That's what's at the root. Because we don't run the media. We don't form and shape public opinion. If we did, none of this would be in the media. None of it. Again, you have to, stuff doesn't just appear in a puff of smoke, everybody. There's somebody who put this up to be the subject. It wasn't us. You always have to be looking for the hand behind whatever it is you're experiencing. Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. How dare you insinuate that a white person did something against you and it be national attention, and that people are made to care about your blackness, that anything would happen to you? Because we see how quickly they turn and walk away when one of us has been murdered down by their paid murderers that they disguise as law enforcement. That's the biggest farce on the earth. You have to remain consistent. Again, one puzzle, everybody. One dog, different pictures. Whichever metaphor you want to use. You must stay consistent. Then, as it was with OJ, how dare he get off is the two words they use. Get off or got off. The choosing of words, I always tell you, it's not just what people say. You have to listen to how did they say it and what language did they choose to say it. Because got off is not what happened to OJ. Stay with me, everybody. I always tell you, if I'm speaking, you will learn. Hear this. Because what happened historically is there was a trial and OJ was found not guilty. So when one speaks about that, unless you're a specious devil, you would state the historical facts in the language that supports its accuracy. You would say OJ was found not guilty. He was acquitted. If you're a specious devil who feels like a crime has been committed against your arrogance, because when you say there's an insinuation of guilt, that means that person's supposed to burn and fry. When that doesn't happen, you say they did what? They got off. I'm from the South Side of Chicago. My brothers used to be up in the kitchen at night, and they pour alcohol into like a ring, and then they'd set a trap it because we had rats, and then they would throw the match down and light it on fire, and they'd kill the rats with the curtain rod. Okay, fine. Now, when the rat didn't take the bait or they got away, they say what? They got away. That means I had an intent for you, and you escaped it. My plan was to get you into this trap and to beat you to death or kill you or something. But you got away. So, the only people whose mouths you hear those two words come out of don't look like us. OJ got off. Hear me. Language, I always tell you, is so important to everybody. It's so important. It's so important. It's so important because it's a window into the very intention of the soul or soulless that would pronounce it, whatever it is. Good or bad, it's a window. That's why I tell you, I listen to what people say. That's why when we read articles, it takes me an hour to get through 2 paragraphs. Because I'm breaking down the language as we go through it. Because why? Language matters. And in that language is going to give me more clues than what is written in the ink that's on the damn page. So just that there was an insinuation against OJ means he should be behind bars. There was an insinuation against Emmett Till. They went to his house, drug him out in the middle of the night, 14-year-old boy, and murdered him. And now in 2019, we think that these same people give a damn about a 16-year-old girl having sex with R. Kelly? Excuse me. Huh? Huh? Same people. Same society. We still don't run it. Drugged this 14-year-old boy out of his bed and murdered him savagely in the night. And all of them supported it. When I did my Emmett Till video, go back, it's on the channel. They raised, in the equivalent of what is today would be $93,000. At that time it was $10,000. But in my video I did the monetary breakdown for you. $93,000 they raised. And all of them came from everywhere with their white ass to sit in that court and dare justice to be done. They ran his Uncle Moses out of town. Don't you show up. He came in to testify to tremble, because how dare he point, because you know in the court you got to point and say, that's the man. You see? And just that he would point his finger and say, that white man did something, meant he had to get out of town. How dare, once we've said Michael Jackson's guilty, he not be guilty. And they are obsessed with being right. So I don't care if Michael's been dead 10 years, it'll be 50 years. They'll still be at Michael Jackson, just like they still not over OJ. Stop this video when I lie. So Jussie comes along at a very interesting time when you have the biggest criminal, well, openly, that we, like, we know this is the nature, but I'm saying his is on display every single day because he's president. The most criminalized, guilty ass person ever to sit probably in that Oval Office, and this is all fine. And before they say they have a murdering, satanic, devil, any other words you want to use in there, they say the country's divided. Or with everything that's going on in the country. And these words that don't hit the mark. Well, I know what's going on. You understand? They're shocked and surprised. And they want you to believe they're shocked and surprised that their kids are getting into the best colleges because they're paying hush money behind the scenes. We yawned when that headline came out. As yet again we're right. And we've known it for generations. We've known it. Because the only way they've ever gotten anything is by hook and by crook. Including this damn nation. There's 140 million native spirits out there right now that can testify to the statement I just made. Who they murdered off. And now they want you to stand and pledge allegiance to their flag and their country. Ha ha! How wondrous. The big picture. The big picture. And for the unsophisticated of you who are just now hearing the Jedi for the first time, you're going, damn, I thought I was the video title said it was Jussie Smollett. How am I getting all of this? Because this is the Jedi. So Jussie comes along. Something happened. We just don't know what. No more mention of the Nigerians, who my legal mind says would have been in the best positioning to be of any guilt here. Quite frankly, whether we want to believe Jussie hired them or not would be immaterial in a courtroom that I'm in, because I would say, well, these are the gentlemen that have motive to come forth, because Jussie is on a show. He has popularity already. This thing that he's seeking attention made no sense to me. He is on a show. He is a household name. We would like to present it to evidence here where he is on the Ellen show. And he's singing a song the Jedi actually love called Good Enough. But that's something else. All right, move to strike. Suggest facts not in evidence, Your Honor. Would the court please forgive me? But here we have this gentleman who is recognizable by name and face, at least in this country, who is financially well off. He makes reportedly $65,000 per episode. But, Your Honor, over here we have these two brothers who are Nigerians, who nobody knows. Their claim to fame is probably their physique. I'll have to stop the video now and do a crunch. Just, they are amazing. We'd ask the entire court to do at least one push-up if we could just order the court for that. All right. The court will be in recess while everyone in the courtroom does at least one push-up. All right. And now we're back in session. And so these gentlemen have no claim to fame, Your Honor. And this event has brought them said attention that they otherwise rationally would not have received. They have the most to gain in this case. And an overzealous, crooked political system in the state of Illinois, and particularly in the city of Chicago, has inspired them to go after this gentleman and pursue him because of said recognition and fame on a popular TV show where he makes $65,000 an episode. I would ask that all charges against my client be dismissed at this time and that he be released from custody forthwith. Now, that's in the real world. But you're in their society. There's been an insinuation of guilt. They've forgotten all about the Nigerians. They don't care. They're circling for blood like sharks always do. You see? There's an insinuation of guilt, and even one of their own said it. That sent them into the next level of obsession. Because there's nothing they love more than when any of their white supremacy bullshit comes out of the mouth of a melanated person. If they even suspect it or think it, they want you to say it, and they can't even. You have to get an inhaler. They're so worked up with excitement. So they're positive now that Jussie is guilty. No question. Because they were in no doubt from the moment there was even an insinuation. Listen, when this whole thing broke, everybody, I didn't know any of the details of the case. Like the first couple days that it broke. How I found out anything was going on is because all I seen was white videos online saying he was a liar. Nothing had been found out. No Nigerians, no cameras, no investigations. Nothing had happened. Nothing. And there were full videos by white folks proclaiming he is absolutely a liar and he's guilty. So now they've come through this with investigations and They can't be allowed to be wrong. He can't be allowed, most importantly, he cannot be allowed to be innocent. No matter what the facts of the case are. As we've already cited with Emmett and OJ and Michael. Doesn't matter. We insinuate, therefore, he is. Then you had Rahm Emanuel, that Zionist twit. You see, who should just fall into a manhole. You know. You'll remember that at the recent press conference, he was flanked by nothing but big black Africans with their little shiny stars and all of it on. Nothing more than a slave likes more. Nothing a slave likes more than when master decorates him. Just like when he used to point to the brand on his back or his arm, say, "I'm Master Johnson, boy. See here, I'm Master Johnson, boy." Well, that's what those stars and those hats and the bullshit they were wearing represented to the eyes of the Jedi. I didn't see police officials behind him. I saw decorated slaves. And so did he. Because that's why he stood with the vitriol when he stepped to the mic, and he's so outraged. When if I had been in that room, I would have just waited for silence and stood up and said, "Excuse me, Mr. Emmanuel, I have just one question. I see your outrage, your feigned outrage, and I would just ask you, were you this outraged when you and the rest of the city colluded to hide the murder of Laquan McDonald for over a year? You, the city, and these decorated slaves behind you. And this lie by Jussie Smollett is the worst thing that's happened in Chicago? What am I missing? What am I missing? Because you see, so again, who cares if Jussie told the truth or not? Who cares? Who cares? They do. In their society, they don't even want you to say the word lie on TV too much. It's an offensive thing. Worst thing you can call them is a racist and a liar. Their head rolls off. And you want to be outraged that you think that Jussie lied? When the President of the United States, at least on record, visibly, because it's not just him, we're just using him as an example of all, is the biggest liar. Nothing but lies coming out of that damn White House every day, sending out paid liars to lie on the various networks, and this is the biggest lie? Nobody died when Jussie lied. Nobody's economic status changed when Jussie lied. Countries weren't attacked when Jussie lied. Innocent people weren't separated from their children at borders when Jussie lied. I can keep going. But this is the biggest lie? No, it's not, but it must be. Because they always need an equivalent, a false equivalent to their continuous evil and lying and deception. I don't give a damn what Jussie did. It is of no consequence to anyone. They want to talk about all the resources they used that were used in the case, and Jussie should have to pay, and this and a third. Well, how many resources did you have to pay to cover up Laquan McDonald's death? What happened? Huh? Because we can't get Laquan in here and ask him, I'm being told. So I'll just have to ask you. Huh? How many resources were in those 16 bullets that took him down in the prime of his life? And the bitch that shot him was reloading and had to be held back. Context, the big picture. Why did prosecutors drop all charges against Jussie Smollett? That really reads, how the hell did this nigger get off? That's your translation. That's your translation. That's your translation. Now, I'm going to hold those images and we're going to look at this. Police said investigators had more than enough evidence to convict actor Jussie Smollett. But in an unprecedented turn of events, and what that means is in something that would never happen to a melanated person, it would only be left afforded for whites. In an unprecedented turn of events, prosecutors decided to drop all charges against him. Huh? No doubt they want to cancel Empire now. No question. You see, because revenge is what they study, while telling you violence is not the answer and to remain calm. And peaceful protest. I'm over it. I just threw up in my mouth. Chicago's mayor and lying whore Zionist and one of his his decorated slaves still think the Empire actor staged an attack on himself, and even the lead prosecutors on the case said he still believes that Jussie carried out a crime. So how did Jussie get cleared of all charges? Well, I know that the American government perpetrated the staged murder on 9/11. And Jussie's the worst liar? If he lied. I'm still at the Nigerians. Here's what several CNN analysts had to say about the latest twist in the case and the possible reasoning behind it. I want to stop and say this. Here's what several CNN analysts, not here's what two criminal lawyers, or here's what two former prosecutors, or here's what two federal judges who are retired now had to say. No. Here's what two CNN analysts had to say. In other words, here's what two white people had to say. You see? Or several white people had to say. About the latest twist in the case and the possible reasoning behind it. First of all, did authorities have enough evidence? All right, police in Chicago found several pieces of evidence that led them to believe that Smollett orchestrated the attack. And we should absolutely believe them, everybody, because they're not the type that would ever hide a murder of a young black teenager who was shot 16 times, and the murderer was reloading, and the entire city would collude to hide that for over a year. So we have to believe the Chicago police. We have to. We have to. They're second only to the Pope and the monastery. You see? And the baby Jesus. All right? You will see them as the baby Jesus. You will do it. Settle down. Now, investigators had footage of the men involved in the alleged attack buying a ski mask, sunglasses, and other items. And notice how they just brush over them and say, have footage of the men involved. No names. They're not under any suspicion or threat of arrest. They also had a check that Jussie used to pay one of them. I'd like to enter this as defense item number 6, Your Honor, as clearly my client wrote this as one of them who is an immigrant here from Nigeria, wanted money to send back home to the family. My client wrote him a check, and here I'd like to enter that into evidence at this time. You see? But no surveillance cameras captured the incident. And one of the men was actually Jussie's personal trainer, the actor's attorney said. And he's my personal trainer? He's jealous of me. He wants to be me. He's just my trainer. And when and I don't know if I go to him and he trains me, or if he comes to me, and I've got other celebrities there. You see, I'm drinking Sauvignon. Spielberg's on the phone with a book deal for me, or a movie deal for me, and he wants my life. I ask that all charges moved against my client, we move that they be stricken down now, Your Honor. Huh? Stay with me, everybody. You will learn. You will learn. If prosecutors saw holes in their case, they had to do the, quote, best they could do in the interest of justice, end quote. I guess that's from one of the analysts. Quote, I'd like to give them the benefit of the doubt and believe they looked at the evidence and didn't feel they could prove their case beyond a reasonable doubt, end quote, said Sarah Azari, a criminal defense attorney. Aha! But now, that means nothing. The name means nothing because she's speaking on CNN, and you don't get on CNN if you're the Jedi. You understand? You don't get on CNN if you're not buying into any of this white supremacist bullshit. You understand that? You don't get on CNN if you're a free thinker. You understand? And an unbridled horse galloping on the plane. You understand? So this quote from Sarah Azari is at best, consequential. Was there concern? Now the next, was there concern he'd already been tried in a court of public opinion? Smollett's transformation from victim to suspect in the reported attack captured national headlines. Celebrities and politicians lent their fervent support, and others doubted the actor's claim. Now these others are white folks. We'll read it again. His transformation from victim to suspect in the reported attack captured national headlines. It didn't capture national headlines. It was put in the headlines. Because again, we don't run it. Again, these innocuous words that just go past you, and then poof, it just happened in a puff of smoke. It was in the headline. No. I'm still at who put it in the headline. This is where I'm trying to train you to train yourself to get to. This is how you dissertate. So when you read something that just is, what was it? Where was it? His transformation from victim to suspect in the reported attack captured national headlines, period. That'll go right past you. No. When the Jedi sees it, this incident was put into the headlines. Celebrities and politicians lent their fervent support, and others doubted the actor's claims. Words, everybody. Others doubted. Others who? Because you just named celebrities and politicians. Said they were fervent in their support. And others. Who's others? The Jedi would need a definition of others. And others doubted the actor's, wait for it, claims. That word claims. You see? Claims. It's an indictment. That translates to thought he was lying anyway. Because otherwise it would say others would still be a problem. Doubted the event, or were in question about the attack, or something. Doubted the actor's claims. Meanwhile, police got into a difficult situation. Azari said they quickly tried their case in the court of public opinion. Well, did they really? As Jussie was being accused of filing a false police report, Police Superintendent Eddie Johnson, and a decorated slave, notoriously lambasted him in a news conference for wasting police resources. How dare you, lot of massa! Because where was Eddie Johnson to lambast all of the state legislature and city government for the cover-up of the murder of Laquan McDonald. I ask you this now, Eddie Johnson, you decorated slave. Huh? I'm sorry, my phone's going out. What? Huh? 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 Wait, let me try my other line. Huh? What'd you say, Eddie? You said nothing. Oh, okay, well then. All right, I got another call coming in. I'll talk to you later. But he notoriously lambasted him in a news conference for wasting police resources and lying to massa. He also pointed out that officers were, quote, pissed, end quote, when they learned Smollett's alleged true motive. Because they were all pissed at the murder of Laquan McDonald that they all covered up, even though it was dashboard camera and everything else. Remember, these people are second only to the baby Jesus. Don't forget it. Authorities said he had staged the attack because he was unhappy with his salary. Huh? Who out there works for McDonald's and you're unhappy about that? I don't even know what the wage is now. Whatever. You see, forget the wage. You're tired of being on fries. I want to be on, I don't know, McFlurry or whatever, McSomething. I'm going and staging an attack. That'll get me on the window. I'll no longer be on fries. Finally, I'll be on the drive-thru. All I need is an attack by two Nigerians. Quick, where's my bleach? For Joey Jackson, who will make you, I know who he is, and if you saw him, it will make you sick. CNN legal analyst and criminal defense attorney and bucktooth coon, police actions were an overstep. Quote, how does he ever get a fair trial when you have the superintendent going on Good Morning America blasting him, he said. You see, even though we cannot stand Joey Jackson, we accept truth where it comes from. All right. So we appreciate that truth, but not his black ass. All right. You've wondered whether or not they've overplayed their hand, he added. That is, that they just went after him so relentlessly on everything else that it poisoned the jury pool. Were the brothers credible? A major twist in the case came when police alleged that, and I'm calling him Jussie, they're saying Smollett, because I tell you, you always become a defendant when you use only somebody's last name. Everybody, that is something that is a dog whistle to white people, where they just use the last name. Either you are an inmate or a subservient. In the military, you go by last name only. Jackson, into my office. You see, you're in the prison. Jackson, into my office. Jackson, whatever your last name is, you become that. And I've gone over this when we've covered other pieces in the past about how they just use the last name. Just the last name. There's significance in that. You understand? So I'm the one injecting Jussie here. They're saying Smollett. But I always do that, as I've taught you. When we would do articles, I still use the person's first name. You see? Mike Brown. Brown such and such. Brown Martin such and such. Martin, when's he going to become Trayvon? When? When's he going to become Michael? When? No, Brown. See? A major twist came in the case when police alleged that Jussie hired two brothers and paid them $3,500 to stage the attack. I'm too lazy to say their names right now, and God forgive me. But these two dudes were arrested last month after police tracked the cabs and rideshare cars they used before the attack. So they didn't go involuntarily. They were arrested. You're arrested, you're going to say anything. And your first instinct is to say anything that doesn't put you behind bars. Quick, he hired us. He hired us. He hired us. Did he? Yeah. Now, it'd be a different scenario that I'd be representing for my client if you want to tell me they just came in on their own and said, we just feel so just overrun with guilt and we simply cannot go on. And we just feel like we should have come in and told you about what really happened in the Jussie Smollett case, and that's why we're here. They were arrested. You see? Arrested. Arrested. The men eventually confessed to the alleged plot and appeared before a grand jury, but they were released without charges. Now, so they went and said, yep, we're the ones that actually did it. Forget who hired us. We did it. Nah, nothing to see here, said the grand jury. And now the world's supposed to be shocked when Jussie walks out with no charges? Do you see the hypocrisy that I'm illustrating for you? Because he's the big fish. They've been arrested. We've insinuated his guilt and we're right, and so therefore he should not be walking out with charges dismissed, and we're pissed about it. Huh? I want a grand jury. But they appeared before the grand jury, but they were released without charges. How many of us now can plan a bank robbery? And I work as a teller at the bank, and I go, I want you guys to come in and rob me. I know there's $100 million in the vault on this particular day. You guys, Keisha, send Keisha and them in. Keisha and them come in. So I'm saying, like, set it off. Matter of fact, it set it off. Didn't Vivica know the dude? When Jay first came here, she's like, so ate that. I just thought about that. Okay, but Keisha and them gonna come in and do the deed. You feel me? Now, I orchestrated it. Keisha and them came in and did it. You think Keisha and them not going to jail? You think they not going to jail? They carried the money out the bank. Keisha and them not going to jail. You think this? Who thinks this? Who thinks Keisha is not going to jail? Type it now. If Keisha is not going to jail. If Keisha Nem, you guys say Keisha Nem. Who think Keisha Nem is not going to jail? Who thinks this? Type it. Who thinks this? Laura Coates, a former federal prosecutor, said that one of the brothers could have had a role in the prosecution's decision, or said that the brothers' roles could have had a role in the prosecution's decision to drop Smollett's charges. Absolutely. Because if you're not going to charge them, you've already let them go. Can you go out and rearrest them now? They didn't want to embarrass the city. That's what this is really about. Because they would have had to go and get those Nigerians now. Because everybody would have been, well, how come the Nigerians aren't behind? And at the very least, there was going to be a trial. The Nigerians are going to have to come in. And everybody's going to, you can't have them there and they look the way they do. You can't, like, not see them. Everybody's going to be saying, how come they're not in jail? And if I'm a jury person sitting in the jury box and all this testimony is going on in front of me, I'm seeing you talking about Jussie, but you just told me about them dudes sitting over there. Well, if they not in jail, then I must not be supposed to convict this dude. They weren't going to get a conviction, everybody. All this is just hubris. It's a bunch of drama now by Rahm Emanuel and his decorated slaves to try to look like they care about morality. Any, not just in Chicago, any place in their, THEIR, society, don't ever fall for any fake displays of morality, because it's just that, fake. This is the seat of the devil, the throne of evil. Righteousness is nowhere in the fabric. Do you understand what I'm telling you? I don't think I need everything else that I brought. We'll just finish this and be over it. No need to waste your time. Uh, Maybe it's a matter of the two. The brothers who, as late as February and March, did not have a plea agreement, did not have an immunity deal, Coates said. They may have recanted, meaning they changed their tune. How do you prove it then? Well, one could say the same thing in the case of Michael Joseph Jackson, who was found not guilty in court of law. And now these two twits can come out and say, well, we did, I actually was abused. Nah, tell your ass. And if it really happened to you, then now you have to just lick your own wounds, and we don't care. We don't. Because you've put us in a position where we can't. You see? Don't bring me Johnny come victim. Don't do it. CNN has reached out to the brothers' attorney for comment. Earlier this month, the brothers said they had, quote, tremendous regret for their involvement in the incident, end quote. The Cook County State's Attorney's Office dropped all charges against Jussie on Tuesday, but released little about why it abandoned the 16 felony disorderly conduct charges. See, there you go. See? And they went straight to felony on him. Not like, let's look to see if he has a record, and no, straight to felony. Because how dare he accuse Massa of doing anything? That's Massa. You see? You mustn't speak this against Massa. 16 felony charges for disorderly conduct. Huh? Show me now the statistics of all these white people who start fights and fires after their sports team loses a damn game. Show me how many of them are felons. I'd like to see those stats now. If somebody could just bring that before me now, I'd just love to see that. Have that entered into evidence if we could. Who has that data? I'm sure somebody's got it on their phone. You see? They abandoned it because they were going to be embarrassed. Embarrassed. The lead prosecutor in the case said they reviewed the case's facts and considered Jussie's volunteer service in the community, as well as his willingness to forfeit his $10,000 bond, which a coin is always important to white people anyway, their mother's own carcass, so we'll take the 10 grand. He also noted that Jussie had no prior felonies and wasn't a danger to the community. Really? So just a second. The lead prosecutor is the one that I just quoted. So they reviewed the case and considered his volunteer work in the $10,000, but here's the main thing. And he also noted that Jussie had no prior felonies and wasn't a danger to the community. Was he thinking was this same lead prosecutor saying the same thing when he put 16 felony charges of disorderly conduct against him? Listen, y'all, we could be at this for another 5 hours. You see where I go. You see where I go. Because what I'm trying to illustrate to you is that no matter what you're dealing with, there are volumes. This article would take 2 minutes, 5 minutes to read, if that. Unless you put it in the hands of an intellectual. An African who knows his enemy, his environment, and his condition. Who understands he is leftover unwanted cargo in this bitch. Who does not cast himself as a citizen of this society. Sees it from an elevated place of third party for the evil that it truly is. The cesspool, the playground of evil. You understand? Then it takes you 2 hours to get through a 5-minute article. Because you got to pick it apart. Because the truth is always there somewhere. No matter what you're dealing with. no matter what you're dealing with. This is why they have coroners and, you see, medical examiners. They weren't there. They didn't know you. But they know the truth of how you died is there somewhere. It's there. It's there. 60-car pileup happens on the freeway. They have traffic reconstructionists that come out and analyze and they measure and they take their, they find out. Brush fire burns 1,000,000 acres, takes out 20,000 homes. They find out how it was started. They know the truth is there somewhere. Well, goddammit, so do I. So do I. And so must you. So must you. That to me sounds like a deferred prosecution coach, the former federal prosecutor said. It's quite common, she said, prosecutors thinking about reviewing the evidence decide that maybe a criminal solution or a criminal prosecution is no longer the most effective way to reach justice. Not to mention that probably, I could imagine for you, maybe the county that he was going to be tried in was probably a mostly African American county, possibly. And even if it wasn't, the fact that he's a celebrity would guarantee him more that he wouldn't get an all-white jury. They normally push off on Ray Nem. But the eyes of the world would be on this, certainly the country. So we have to make it look like the jury pool is fair. And that same jury is coming in knowing that you're going after R. Kelly, knowing that you're trying to pull Michael Jackson out the grave, etc., etc. This was a losing battle for them, everybody. The writing's on the wall. I don't need to read shit else. I don't need to. I don't need to. I don't need to. I don't need to. I don't. I don't. I don't. I don't. You understand? All I need to know is these two headlines. That's all I need to know. That's all I need to know. And OJ. And Emmett Till. And a million other names that I cannot name and do not know. But there's two words I do know. White man. There's two other words I know. Just learned them. White supremacy. Oh my God, there's two more. White privilege. White arrogance. I don't believe that this brother did all this for a raise. If anything, this would get me my job lost. My God. You see what I'm saying? At the very least, I would run the risk of I've been attacked and I come back and maybe if the producers say, well, after this tragic attack, we just, you may say you're okay, Jussie, but we just for your own safety, we think you should just take a break and we'll recast the character because, maybe you're dealing with more of this than you know already. And there may be more of something, that's there that, maybe you should seek some counseling on this to make sure that you're really okay. Even though you tell us you're over it and you look fine and we're glad you're okay. We just want to go in a different direction. I could see studio heads saying that. I could absolutely see it. I can hear it. I can hear it. So, in my mind, it's not about the guilt or innocence of Jussie Smollett. It is yet again another commentary on the enemy of our people. The writing is on the wall for me. They don't really care about his guilt or innocence. Anthony Ray Hinton, I brought you that videos here on the channel. the brother that Oprah interviewed. Well, strike her. But the fact of the matter is, in 1985, I think it was, he was out mowing his mother's lawn, and the police walked up on him. They told him, they said, "We know you didn't do it. But guess what? You're going to have a white judge and a white jury and a white prosecutor. And you know what that means? Guilty." Those are the words that they said to him. He has a book. His name's Anthony Ray Hinton. I forget the name of his book now. You see? So, again, you don't throw out the 3,000 piece puzzle because you found one piece. You go, how does this fit with the rest of these 3,000 pieces? This is part of that. This part of the clouds. I think this fits over here in the trees. I think it's part of the sidewalk. I think it's the sidewalk. I think it's part of the sidewalk. See how this piece, see that line right there? I think this goes to the sidewalk. Try this piece over there. That's what this is for me. That's how I receive my experience in this throne of Satan. That's how I receive it. And any time the headline of any melanated person, but certainly a melanated male, is elevated to the point where which they're going to use media time and ink for newspapers and magazines, they will do that for one of a very few reasons. A, to celebrate your coonery. B, to convict you. Or C, to your buffoonery, where you're entertaining them or something. You're a sports player, you're a singer, you do something that entertains massa. That's it. So of course we'll elevate Dr. King, but we won't elevate Malcolm, because King said, "Love these satanic, devilish ass people." Malcolm said, "Take their head off." Who you think is going to elevate it? Who you think is going to use ink on and media time? Start seeing the big picture, everybody. Your life depends on it. This is the Jedi.